we kind of make a have a lighthearted approach to the news of the day. This is not a specifically lighthearted story, but it is important for people to talk about. So we're going to talk about at the beginning. A off-duty CBP officer was shot by an illegal immigrant in a robbery attempt in New York City. I'm sure all of us are aware of that as of right now. I'm pretty sure everybody's been talking about it, considering the horrendous problem that you get when you release criminals back into society to let them do it again. Grace, in my opinion and in my view of it, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about this, the fact that the guy was a CBP officer, which is fantastic. Thank you for the wonderful work that he does, but is kind of like not really, in my view, a big part of the story. Just kind of, it was a coincidence. My big thing was this guy was arrested over and over again. There's an outstanding warrant for him in Massachusetts. He was set to be deported when he was arrested in Arizona, and for some reason is still freaking out on the streets. The idea that the guy is the victim there was a CBP officer is kind of just a coincidence, but the big problem is, why the heck are we letting these people out on the streets after they commit crimes?
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously that got it into the news cycle more because he wasn't even in uniform at the time. But the
Yeah.
most insane part of this story is the fact that we still can't find a Democrat to have the courage to admit the harm that the Biden administration's policies had and are still having on innocent Americans across our country. The amount of crimes committed by illegal aliens, other than just crossing the border, is monumental, and there's overwhelming evidence that there's extreme harm from the open border policies that the Biden admin had for years. It's insane.
Yeah, Siaka, I'm curious about your thoughts here, because both of us probably tied very closely to legal immigrants. Libs like to throw around the statistic, well, immigrants commit less crimes than American citizens, and they conflate the legal ones with the illegal ones. If you're here legally and you went through the process, which is complicated and difficult, the chances of you committing a crime and ruining or jeopardizing your ability to be here is actually pretty low. So there is a point there, but again, that's the legal way. When you combine the illegals in that whole statistic doesn't make any sense because it's top heavy on the people that are here legally. I hate to beat a dead horse here, but we've been talking about the fact that they conflate illegal with legal through the entirety of all their statistics. What has to happen? Is this story big enough, do you think, to drive the point home of, like, we're talking about illegals, we need to get the illegals out of the country?
Well, I just want to say to everyone watching, do you get it yet? The Democrats, they don't care about you. They want you dead. So here we go.
Jeez.
You were asking earlier, like, why did they let him out? Well, here we go. They're doing that on purpose, Joe Bob. We know they want to conflate both angles. Why? Because they don't care about this country and they want you dead. That's what happens when you're part of a death cult. So be careful, everyone out there. You thought maybe that the Democrats are going to be a little different after this. No, they're not. Get out while you still can, because this is what's happening in places like that. And to Grace's point, when you're talking about it's crazy because, like, yeah, this is a CBP officer, but the issue is that if it was just you, me, or any random person on the street, would this even get the kind of notoriety that it should, right? And then let's go even going further back. This is just a story that's up now because of the immigration push or the deportation push the Trump administration is trying to do. This is not in there because 3, 4, 5 years ago we could barely get out Lincoln Riley. We could barely get that to hit a national story unless you're on the right side of the news. You weren't really seeing that anywhere else. So like I said before, guys, and we're saying this kind of jokingly, but this is dead serious. Get out of the Democratic Party. Protect yourself in these Democratic cities, because they do not care about you. They rather see you dead. You're more of a liability to them than these illegals who, guess what? When you come in here illegally, you've committed crimes. So 100% of them have committed more crimes than Americans. So.
Yeah, it's, and again, I don't want to make light about the situation, but I was shocked that the shooting happened in New York City. I thought that guns were illegal. I apparently that law just didn't work for some reason or another.
No one told him it was a gun-free zone, I guess.
That's what it was. There was no sign that said it was a gun-free zone. That's and again, I don't want to make light about a very serious situation, but the idiocy is sometimes difficult to pass over with mockery.